Hi guys and girls, and welcome to another Python web scraping tutorial where we're going to talk about a little more about the advanced HTML parsing. We're going to try to dig deeper with BeautifulSoup. So first off, let's just try to do an analogy of like marble sculpting. So when an artist is trying to make a sculpture, he's going to chip away a lot of stone to get to the final result of a beautiful sculpture. Although web scraping is unlike marble sculpting, in most other respects, we must take a similar attitude when it comes to extracting the information we are seeking from a complicated web pages. There are many techniques to chip away the content that doesn't look like the content that we are searching for until we arrive at the information we're seeking. So in the following series of tutorials, we'll look at parsing complicated HTML pages in order to extract only the information we're looking for. So it can be tempting when faced with a Gordian knot of tags with lots of tags to dive right in and use multi-line statements to try to extract our information. However, keep in mind that layering the techniques used in the following tutorials with reckless abandon can lead to code that is difficult to debug, fragile, or both. So before getting started, let's look at some ways you can avoid altogether the need for advanced HTML parsing. So let's take an example. Let's say you have some target content. Maybe it's a name, statistic, or block of text. Maybe it's buried 20 tags deep in an HTML mush with no helpful tags or HTML attributes to be found. Let's say you dive right in and write something like the first line here to attempt extraction. So in this first line here, we're just trying to take a BeautifulSoup objects, and we're trying to traverse through a table, and then we are going to the table row and the table data, and again a div tag, and to find a link tag. So that doesn't look so great. In addition to the aesthetics of the line, even the slightest change to the website by a site administrator might break your web scraper altogether. So in this case, what are our options? So look for other options on when you are trying to scrape away. Like for example, look for a print this page link, or perhaps a mobile version of the site that has better formatted HTML, or you can look for information hidden in a JavaScript file. Remember, you might need to examine the imported JavaScript file in order to do this. For example, collecting street addresses along with latitude and longitude of a website in a neatly formatted array by looking at the JavaScript for the embedded Google map that displays a pinpoint over each address. And the next one is that look for URLs. This is more common for page titles, but the information might be available in the URL of the page itself. And next one is if the information you're looking for is unique to this website. For some reason, you're out of luck. If not, try to think of other sources you could get this information from. Is there another website with the same data? Is this website displaying data that it's scraped or aggregated from another website? So especially when faced with buried or poorly formatted data, it's important not to just start digging. Take a deep breath and think of alternatives. If you're certain no alternatives exist, the rest of this tutorial series is for you. So when you want to dig deeper. So in earlier tutorials of this web scraping tutorial, we took a quick look at installing and running BeautifulSoup, as well as selecting objects one at a time. So in this tutorial, we'll discuss searching for tags by attributes, working with list of tags, and parse tree navigation in the following videos. So nearly every website you encounter contains style sheets. Although you might think that a layer of styling on websites that is designed specifically for browser and human interpretation might be a bad thing, The advent of CSS is eventually a boon for web scrapers. CSS relies on the differentiation of HTML elements that might otherwise have the exact same markup in order to style them differently. That is, like in these examples, some tags might look like this. If some have a span class of green and some have a span class of red. So web scrapers can easily separate these two different tags based on their class. For example, they might use BeautifulSoup to grab all of the red text, but none of the green text, because CSS relies on these identifying attributes to style sites appropriately. And you're almost guaranteed that these class and ID attributes will be plentiful on most modern websites. So let's try to create an example of this web page, which is again pythonscraping.com/pages/warandpeace.html. So we're going to create an example web scraper that scrapes the page, and on this page the lines spoken by characters in the stories are in red, and whereas the names of the characters themselves are in green. So if we just inspect these elements, let's just inspect this one, for example. So we can see that span tags with reference to the appropriate CSS classes are yes, what they're spoken is in red, and what the names of the characters are in green. So let's now try to create our web scraper. We'll just call it War and Peace py, and let's try to grab the entire page and create a BeautifulSoup object with it using a program similar to the one that we use in the first tutorial. So request, we'll import URL open, and from BeautifulSoup we'll import the BeautifulSoup class, and we put the HTML variable and open the web page we mentioned, scraping.com/pages/warandpeace.html. I hope I typed it right. War and Peace, yes, looks like it. And then we create our BeautifulSoup object, soup, and we'll pass in the variable, the HTML, and we'll also define our parser. So using this BeautifulSoup object, we can use the find all function to extract the Python list of proper nouns found by selecting only the text within the span class green tags, this one. And find all is an extremely flexible function we'll be using a lot throughout this series. So let's get back to our editor, and let's now create a list. BeautifulSoup object, and I'll explain in a minute what I'm doing. And then we loop over our list and print out get the name text and when we run it, we get all the nouns that are in that document, HTML document. So when we run it, it should list all the proper nouns in the text and in order they appear in War and Peace. So what's going on here? Previously we called BS object dot tag name in order to get the first occurrence of that tag on the page. In this instance here, we just stopped at the first occurrence. Now this I have messed up, but you get the idea if to look at the first code example. So now what we are doing here, we're calling BS object.find all, and we get the tag name and the tag attributes in order to get a list of all the tags on the page rather than just the first. So we get all of the tags and tag attributes. So after getting a list of names, the program iterates through all the names in the list and prints name.getText in order to separate the content from the tags. So what getText does is, if you go to the BeautifulSoup documentation, and you'll get, if you only want the text part of a document or a tag, you can use the getText method. It returns all the text in a document or beneath a tag as a single Unicode string. This is very useful. And a note on when to use getText and when to preserve tags. The .getText strips all tags from the document that you're working with and returns the string containing the text only. For example, if you're working with a large block of text that contains many hyperlinks, paragraphs, and other tags, all those will be stripped away and you'll be left with a tagless block of text. So keep in mind that it's much easier to find what you're looking for in a BeautifulSoup object than in a block of text. So calling .getText should always be the last thing you do immediately before you print, store, or manipulate your final data. In general, you should try to preserve the tag structure of a document as long as possible. So I hope this video has been some of value to you guys and you learned something. So in case you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the content, or comment if you wish. Yes, please support me any way you can, and hope to see you in the next video. Okay, bye guys.